Hello traders, today is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. I'm going to go over the same list of names that I had yesterday. Keep in mind, this content is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice. We are going to start with Apple. And, well, not a very good day for the markets today. Pretty much everything was great. And Apple was one of those names. One of the things that I said yesterday, not only here on the YouTube channel, but I also mentioned this on X, is that if we break the 35 SMA, you're gonna go towards 237. This key level right here. You're gonna be meeting this level if you do. 237, basically at the same area where this trend line is. I do believe, however, that once we hit this level, you might actually have a very nice setup to the upside. Now, there is a possibility that due to the lack of liquidity that we have here, we might actually go towards 233. And if that is the case, then you're going to have a better opportunity to grab more, some positions to the upside. In my opinion, Apple is actually setting up for a very nice move to the upside. You have the MACD and the TSI that are still looking very bearish, especially the TSI. You can see the divergence right here. And the RSI is also continuing pointing down towards the 30 level. Now, nothing is set on stone in this case, but I do believe that 237 at least is coming. And if that is the case, there's definitely going to be an opportunity. Now, don't be surprised that tomorrow, Friday, you might have a little bit of a push to the upside, which I wouldn't, it could be expected, to be honest. Thursday, we're close, and then Friday should be a day of lower volume. So I think tomorrow is more critical as far as direction goes. But based upon what I'm seeing on the chart, there's a huge possibility that we're going to go down towards 237. And at that point, there might be a good opportunity to actually reposition, to get some, especially if you want calls or buy shares, there might be a good opportunity in this area. Now let's move on to the next name, and that is, where are you? AMD. And give me this 1 second. Not the best day for AMD. It couldn't break the 35 SMA. It got rejected on the 35 SMA. MACD and TSI are not looking bad, today compared to what other names, NVDA, for example, how they performed. AMD actually was able to hold pretty strongly. You can take a look at AVGO and some other names that actually had, lower percentages or higher negative percentages per se. I do think that we might see, a continuation to the upside. But it's very possible, since we got rejected on the 35 SMA, then you're going to go down towards 121 and then maybe, continue the range. So you just have to be cautious on how you want to trade this name. I do have calls on AMD, which I bought somewhere around here in one of these candles right here. Probably on this green candle. I thought it was going to go based upon what I'm seeing on the MACD and the TSI. Now, my position is basically flat. It was red over here, but then yesterday we were already green, and today we are flat, a little bit on the red side, but pretty much flat. I do think that there is a chance that we can go down towards support, but if we actually break the 35 SMA, then your real point of or critical point is a 135 resistance level, 134 resistance level. In this case, I do believe that we just have to be patient and see how this behaves. Again, I think that AMD had some strength, especially during the beginning of the trading session. Let's go to the 5-minute. Yeah, you had this push to the upside, and then the market was pushing down everywhere. You had buyers coming back in. I think right on this area, AMD was back into green, and then it couldn't break the 200 SMA on the 5-minute chart. Came down again, and now you had a little bit of a push to the upside towards the end of the trading session. Not to worry about what is happening after hours, to be honest. That's what I have for AMD. Now let's move on to Amazon. And let me take a quick note right here. Amazon, it was looking fantastic yesterday. It's not looking too good today. So yesterday what I was saying was, and you broke the trend line, that looks good. The candle wasn't bad at all. MACD and TSI were starting to look a little bit better. But what happened today? You went down almost 2.5%, 2.42% to the downside. It is very possible that you're going to hit that 35 SMA is not going to work as a resistance, in my opinion, or a support. And we're going to hit 215 again. Now, I don't think we're going to go down towards 200. That would be a little bit concerning. But I do think that there is definitely room to continue going down to the downside and then move up again. This might be actually a good opportunity again to reset positions. I do have calls on Amazon. They are red. But I'm going to hold them because they are, I believe, either August or July calls. And I'm planning to keep them and see how we behave in this area. Now, I'm a little nervous, to be honest, because I want to make sure that to be pretty much to not have positions by January 20th or that week. So it would be optimal in my case if this name actually moves towards 230 or whatnot. But for now, what I'm seeing is, and there's still room to the downside based upon what I'm seeing, not only on this candle and what happened today, but what I also see on the MACD and the TSI, the RSI. There is definitely weakness, or you can also say strength to the downside. The TSI is showing you that is grabbing divergence again to the downside, and we're still above the zero line. There's selling pressure, so we'll see. There's low liquidity here right on 215. So we'll see how things work out tomorrow. But as you said on the last ticker that I was talking about, Apple, don't be surprised if you actually get a push to the upside tomorrow. Don't be surprised of that. It's not uncommon. But in any case, if that doesn't happen, I think that we're probably going to retest support and go back towards 230 again. So this level right here, 215 or 216, is very, very critical. The 35 SMA, I don't believe is going to hold if we continue going down. Now, let's take a look at, of course, Bitcoin, and well, quite an eventful day, wasn't it? And down 5%, which is a lot for Bitcoin, let me tell you. It wasn't able to hold this level of support. And one of the things that I said yesterday is, before when I was in prior videos, is that you had to break this level of resistance at 100,000 with momentum, which we did. But now we're coming back down with momentum again. So there could be a continuation to the downside towards 91. If you break 91, you're going to meet 86 quite fast. And I've been saying that in this area as well. But for now, you have to keep an eye on this level right here, right under this volume shelf. So between 95 and 91 or 92, that is where we should be focusing as far as price action goes. MACD and TSI are neutral for now. The RSI is looking a little bit bearish, to be honest. It's pointing down and it's about to cross a signal line. So keep an eye on that. And we are also under the 35 SMA, which in the case of Bitcoin, it can be broken pretty quickly. So quite interesting. Everything else, as far as Bitcoin, all these names right here, got a big hit. Let's take a look at MSTR. Yeah, I guess my thesis on 280 is still holding. Okay. Anyways, that's what I have for Bitcoin. Critical levels still 192. Right now, looks like we might actually hit 92. If we hit 92, we better only be retesting this level of support and then continue going up. If you break 92, then 86 is my next is the next stop. Now let's take a look at this name that I've been mentioning for a while, since basically mid-December. I've been talking about GEV, and one of the things that I like about what I've seen today is that you went back to support and then buyers came back in. Let's take a look at the 5-minute and see how this looks. Sell off in the beginning of the trading day, buyers came back in. You close basically minus 0.75. So not to worry about this, but look, you got very close to support on the 5-minute and then came back up. That is quite interesting. I like seeing this, which actually gives you a better setup to the upside. Again, I'm going to say this. Don't be surprised if you actually get a green day tomorrow. And if that is the case, I think that GEV is going to benefit from that move. This is still looking pretty good. Look at this candle right here. You had a pretty similar move. It's behaving very similarly to what we had here back in July. You know, during the summer, this was consolidating. And then right in the beginning of August or mid-August, beginning of September, you started moving up very nicely. Okay, let's move on to now. This is quite interesting, and we're going to talk about, if I can find you, HIMS. Now, you got to appreciate the relative strength on HIMS, considering that a lot of names were selling off. Let's take a look at Hood really quick since he's here. I just want Hood to continue going down. But HIMS is looking really good. After hours, is almost half a point. So you went almost for the day. You had 3%, 2.86%. Very nice day for HIMS. Neutral candle. So there was definitely a battle between buyers and sellers. And you can see it right here. Push to the upside, sellers came back in, and then buyers took control towards the end of the session. You're closing at 2.86%. This is fantastic. I love seeing this. I do believe that this is setting up very nicely to the upside. MACD and TSI are looking much better than how they were looking just a few trading days ago. I guess my comment on this is be mindful on how you're trading. One of the things that I'm starting to see, I was driving today and I was thinking, maybe what is happening today, not today, but lately is, I don't know if some of you were traders back then, but back in 2017 and 2018, trading was like this. You had a nasty red day, and then you had a couple of decent green days, and then another nasty red day, and then 3 green days. And it was a very choppy market to the upside. And that was, the market during the Trump administration, the first administration. And I wouldn't be surprised that, if Trump continues to make comments as he does, and that's his style, the market is going to react. So if he spoke about tariffs today, the market is going to have a strong reaction. And, I'm just thinking maybe this is what we're going to see in the next months, quarters, maybe, of a lot of, a stressful type of trading in which you make progress for a couple of days, and then you take a huge step back the next day, and then you move forward again, and that back and forward, so you don't have a very steady direction on the market. But that was very characteristic back in 2017, 2018. It was a peculiar way of I guess, navigating the market. It got to a point that I just bought positions. At that point, I started buying Tesla, and I started buying, Bank of America, and I had Starbucks, and I had those positions that I felt I had AMD back then as well. AMD was very, very cheap. I had Neo. So, and I had him as positions, and my account actually grew very, very fast. But, trading, like day trading was, for me at least, was very, very complicated back then. Anyways, HIMS looking strong as far as what I see today. And I love seeing this type of strength on a difficult day, I guess. But we'll see how we continue to behave. Now, with this, I'm not saying that we're going to start ripping to the upside. I think we have to be very, very cautious on how we are trading and what type of positions we have. So if you see that there is a nice consolidation, or if there is a momentum to one direction or the other, then at that point you can take advantage. But for now, as far as what the technicals look, this is not looking bad at all, in general terms. Now let's move on to the next name, and that is MBLY, MobileEye. And coming back to this area of support, so we had this move, wow, 10%, almost 10.5%. What is interesting here is that you're coming back to this level of resistance, which is now support, obviously, right? So it was resistance here for a while. It broke, it got rejected, and now you're moving. I think if we maintain this level of resistance, right, of support, I'm sorry, at 19, we might be setting up for a nice move to the upside. My price target is still 25, which is this level right here. Now you had this nasty move, almost 10%. You have another level of support, I guess, on the 35 SMA, which has been quite strong, especially since this area right here, that mid-October, give or take. So it is interesting to see. I do believe that if we break this level right here, 19, we could maybe keep a close eye on the 35 SMA, and if it breaks, the 35 SMA breaks, then you are unfortunately positioned to go down towards 15.3, 15.4, yeah, 15, let's say 15, give or take. And I'm saying that because there is low liquidity in this area. If you break 15, let's not talk about it for now. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. But critical support level right now is 19. I do believe that if we break that to the downside, things are going to get quite difficult. So look at this move. It was continuous sell-off, and then you got to resistance, to support, and then a bounce right at the end of the trading day. Interesting. All right, let's move on to Meta. And let me take a note right here really quick. Meta is looking interesting, to be honest. I still bullish on Meta. MACD and TSI, as you can see on the lower indicators here, are not looking bad. The RSI is looking a little bit bearish, pointing down towards the signal line, but that's kind of relative. One of the things that I like about Meta is that Zuckerberg is really trying to adapt to what the market is telling him, or the consumer. And that is quite important. Right before this video, I saw that video of Mark Zuckerberg talking about basically calibrating the way they were, doing business on Instagram and Facebook, and they were basically going to stop censoring and listening more to, I guess, reading the room better, which is good. I do believe that he has more. I think there were rumors that he was also trying to get Dana White into the board of directors of Facebook. That would be quite interesting. But that means that he is actually positioning himself to be closer to Trump and to the administration. And he is just being, I guess, a businessman, taking the opportunity when it comes, and going from one side to the other. When the Democrats were in charge, he was in bed with the Democrats, and now he wants to be in bed with Trump, which is what a businessman, a smart businessman with a lot of money and a lot of influence should be doing, I guess. So I think that is positive. I think that Facebook is going to benefit from this administration. So long term, I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Facebook breaking the 700s. I think maybe the following days are going to be a little bit choppy. Yeah, It was down almost 2%, but as far as how it was behaving, at least from the time that I was looking at, um, Meta didn't do too bad. You went down, and then buyers came back in. You had a little bit of a sell-off again, and then buyers stepped in again. I don't dislike what I'm seeing in Meta. I think that I'm positive in this case that we're gonna hit 700 sooner than what we think. This candle looks nasty. Yeah, it does, but the MACD and the TSI doesn't. And you can't see on the wick and the body of the candle, then there was pressure to the upside as well. Now, sellers were more in control. I totally understand that. And you had a minus 1.9, 2%, minus 2% day. That's fine as well. But everything, the trend continues to go to the upside. If you zoom out, the trend continues to go up. So that is a very interesting thing for Meta. I like Meta, to be honest. Now let's move on to the next name, and that is, I just broke my pencil. That is Microsoft. And let me take a quick note. Not looking too good. So still fighting this trend line, still fighting the 200 SMA. Down for the day 1.28%. MACD and TSI are looking terrible. The RSI is also looking bad. But these lower indicators are definitely not looking good. Don't be surprised if we go back to the infamous 415 level, which it feels like every other time that I mention Microsoft, we hit 415. Like, I don't even have to look at the chart at this point, and I know exactly where 415 is. So critical level again of support 415. If we break 415, we're going straight into the 325 SMA, which is this line right here, and that would take us close to 406, 405. But for now, let's just keep an eye on the 415 level as support. This area right here, this trend line, is also important, but I think if it breaks, which is possible if we have another red day tomorrow, we're going to meet 415, which is critical in my opinion. It is one of those things that must hold if we don't want to see a continuation, a more dramatic continuation to the downside. Now let's take a look at NVIDIA. And look at this candle. You went to all-time highs. I think my neighbor is outside being loud. You have these all-time highs. I'm not sure if we hit all-time highs today, though, so don't quote me on this. But we got to this level of support, or I'm sorry, resistance, got completely rejected. Let's take a look at the 5 minutes so we can see how this level worked. You got after hours, and right after that, you got rejected, went down all the way towards 140. So one of the things that I said yesterday was that I sold my entire position here on this candle. Now, while I was saying that, and while I was listening to myself, I was like, maybe this was going to continue running. But at the same time, I felt comfortable with my decision of selling my entire position on NVIDIA. Now, I did buy calls in this area. I did sell in this red candle, or one of these two candles. I think it was the red candle. And then I bought again somewhere in between these two candles, probably this green candle, after you broke this level of resistance. And then I took advantage of this move to the upside again. You got a pretty red day, 6.22% to the downside. Very nasty candle. But this might actually be an opportunity, especially if we go down either towards this trend line. Let's make it a little bit longer. Or if you hit actually 136 again. Now, if that is the case, I would probably jump on NVIDIA again. That chart would look very nice. But yeah, this candle really took us for a spin, in my opinion. But again, right now, your level of resistance is 141. That is critical. And your level of support, don't be trusting the 35 SMA on this case, because there is momentum still to the downside. Your level of support right now is 136. Now, if we have a nice green day tomorrow, we might have a very nice move, or a very nice opportunity for a rebound. Just be cautious. I think things might get choppy between now and the 20th, or now and yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe things get a little bit choppy, a little bit challenging to trade, especially if you're day trading or swing trading could be challenging. I'm personally seeing that. Now let's move on to Tesla, and let me take a quick note. So not a good day for Tesla. You know, you had this move to the upside right here as of yesterday. Yesterday was a green day as far as the tape, but a red day on the candle. Now you're sitting right on the 35 SMA. Do I think it's gonna hold? I have my reservations on that. If it doesn't, obviously we're gonna go back to my, bearish price target, which is 360. But if it holds, we'll see how we have to pay attention on resistance and how we behave on 415. These two levels right here, 415 is stronger than 365, but these two levels right here are critical. I think if you break 415 with momentum, boom, you're going towards 488, 490 new all-time highs price discovery. If you continue failing to break this level at 415, and you come towards support and break support, 330 is going to meet us. So my range is still the same. My range is still, on a more bearish, I guess, scale, 330 and 365. This is the obvious level of support, but 330 and 415 for now are my levels. If we break 415, I think we're going to really push. But if we continue failing in this area, then we might encounter 365 faster than what we actually think. And if we break 365, 330 is where we are probably going to land. I don't think this gap, these gaps right here are going to fill anytime soon, at least, but we never know. But anyways, keep an eye on 365, keep an eye on the 35 SMA. Not sure if it's going to hold, to be honest. And your resistance level, if you break 415, bada bing, bada boom, you might actually find yourself rolling towards new all-time highs. That's all I have for today, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Please subscribe and like the videos. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.